Yalla, yalla, infidels. That's right. Ready or not, Hamin Media Group taking over the Buffalo Soldier Dreadlock Rasta on the 12th hour. Fly by in my bomber. Crews run for cover. Now they under pushing up flowers, infidels. And I got the man right here, the straight shooter himself. He's back to put the stranglehold on today's headlines here on the Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Friday Locker Room Thursday taping at hackerhamin.podbean.com, infidels. Yalla! Yeah, man, back in it with The Office, so you better straighten up and fly right. He's got the clipboard. He's here to write some names down and hand out some fines. It's Strangler Steve, the Wednesday locker room hero, making his re-debut here on Friday. Appreciate you, Striz.
Yeah, man, it's great to be back on the Friday locker room. I want to say thanks to you and also to Stevie for, being busy. It gives me a spot to run in on, and it always gives me a nice shine, which I'm always looking for, as you know.
He definitely wants to do a three-way dances. Every time he's like, "Oh, I can't make it. Oh, I get strangled." He's like, "Oh, I wanted to be on with." Like,
yeah, I would love to, man.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen Stevie in person since the 2CW show he was on with the BWO.
Really?
Man,
Really?
so it was like 2013, 2014. He probably didn't even realize I was there because he was busy doing his thing. So it'd be kind of cool to do that for sure. I'd love to, talk wrestling with the dude.
Yeah, well, I'll lay the frig out and not have to do a Friday locker.
These are the Steves you know.
That's it, man. Put him in play. But he's doing big things. He's on set the next this week and next week for Heels, working on the show Heels, stunt coordination. He's also in a couple scenes. I know they're working on a battle royal, stuff like that. So he's politicking to be the first one thrown out, I'm sure.
The pay is the same, my friend. Oh, dude, when you say battle royal, I instantly cringe because I'm like, oh Christ, like who can I get to throw me out real fast? I don't think fans even realize, even after we talk about it year after year, like how quickly you want to get out of those battle royals, especially after you worked a match like 2 hours beforehand and you're sitting there freezing your ass off in a locker room. Like you've already went out and you've already sweated your ass off. Now you're freezing in the back and you got to go out again. Oh, the worst feeling. Those bumps hurt even more.
Yep. I've been in probably 6 to 8 of them, and because of obviously the Hamin heat, not the insane wrestling skill, but for whoever has to go over, it's better look when I get eliminated if they're one of the ones who do it. So out of probably those 8, I've probably been in the final 4 5 or 6 times, and some of them aren't bad at all, and some are just a brutal beating from people who don't wrestle a lot, and that's their opportunity to try and shine. And it's just like, slow down, buddy.
Yeah. I only went over in one battle royal in my whole career out in California for Bill Anderson. And the last guy in there was, I'm not a tall guy. I'm like 5'7" on a good fucking day. This kid was like 5'2", and he was about 110 pounds soaking wet. And he came up to me in the locker room beforehand because he knew we were the last 2 in there. He's like, "Let's go over some stuff. I'll do this, and I'll hit you with that, and I can come off the ropes and fly, and then you can do this and that." I'm like, "Okay, kid, I'll see you out there." And I'd only been out in that area for like a really short period of time. Yeah. Bill Anderson was the promoter, and he was just doing it to kind of get me on a spot, to move me further along in the company because I had already had like a lot of experience being a Kowalski guy, and Frankie Kazarian was out there and he was a Kowalski guy. So he, put in a good word for me. So with the last 2 guys in the battle royal, and the kid's like looking at me like, "Okay, you ready to start the spot?" And I took the kid and I shook-handed him right over the top rope. He fell on the ground. He looked at me with like fucking daggers in his eyes. He's like, "You motherfucker, we had all this shit planned." I'm like, "Sorry, kid. We've been on this thing for fucking 25 minutes already." I'm like, "Good night. We're done."
Forget about it, bro. Like this highlight moment, like everyone's gonna remember his battle royal.
Oh, that's so bad. I'm not taking bumps in a battle royal, dude. Fuck that shit.
No, why would you? You don't want to leave your feet. Somebody step on you. It's so stupid, man.
He's like, "This is my time to shine." You'll catch the next one. Don't worry about it.
Dr. Ted in the chat room this morning says, "I don't do battle royals unless I'm winning, quote unquote." Rob Conway. Man, don't do no battle royals unless he's up, daddy. Yeah. Shit, but appreciate you.
Dude, not to move forward, but not to cut you off, but my wife actually was in a battle royal for the Fabulous Moolah. She was running the LIWA, Ladies International Wrestling Association, and she broke her ankle getting dumped over the top rope kind of carelessly from the girl she was working with. And the way she spun out of the ring, the way she was tossed, is she went straight down on her ankle and it snapped. And they had to do surgery. She has, to this day, she has a plate and 8 screws in her ankle because of that.
My ankle hurts just to you talking about it.
The worst.
Damn it. Well, shout out to the Violet Flame. We're big fans as always, man, for sure. But yeah, all the heavy hitters are in the chat room already as we kick things off for the Friday locker room. And yeah, hopefully everything goes well for Stevie over there. And it was a good horseman last night. I wanted to get to Dyatlov Pass to kind of get away from politics and what, but we did some UFO disclosure. We did some other stories. We just didn't get to it. And next week, speaking of Kowalski kids, this week, the A show dropped yesterday for April Hunter and Damian Sandow, Aaron Stevens, if you will. Great episode produced by Colin. Just more high level thought and really inspiring stuff yesterday. And it's on Patreon because I wanted to give some exclusivity, but we're going to give that first episode away for free. And I think you guys will really enjoy it. They were excited about it. And April pops me a bunch of times and surprises me in some of the things she says. So more just a great content rolling out that way. But then next week, and I botched the spot because I should have waited another week and put the heat on myself. But, for cross promotion, and he said he'd do it. But next week, hopefully, Idle Stevens, Damian Sandow is going to be coming on the Conspiracy Horsemen to talk Freemasonry. But the following week, here's the botch, is 3-3 for the fucking. I should have booked for them, but I got them for February 24th. So, we'll lead into 3-3 with that. But he says he wants to talk openly about it and stuff. So I'm trying to get the right questions. You know what I mean? Not the fucking gotcha bullshit.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think you break in with an Illuminati question. You kind of have to work your way into that one. But April and Aaron I've known for a bazillion years. I know Aaron obviously a lot better than April. April started as an NWO girl, I think, in WCW, and then later became, trained at Kowalski's. And Aaron, I remember the day he walked in, he was 15 years old. He had his old man with him and started training as a teenager. So he was, you could always tell he was one of the brighter kids that walked through the door because you could have a good conversation with him when he was just a teenager and you knew, this guy is not going to be a slouch. And he never took no for an answer. He kept working hard and got to WWE on 2 different occasions. So, that real feather in his cap. That was his biggest goal in life, is he wanted to be a star in WWE, and he got to be there. So, awesome guy, and love the kid to death.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great high level thinker. And that's what this show, the A show, is going to be about, man. A little bit less of the old reading the news headlines and what's hot in this, but very high level educated talk, man. And April just graduated from Full Sail with a creative writing degree after putting in 3.5 years. And it's just awesome to hear her views on things as well. I mean, the sex appeal is always there with her, but her mind makes her far more sexy, in my opinion. She's got great opinions on so many different topics, and especially the ones that I look at in media and freedom of speech and things along those lines. Ted says, big rib on me, Ben Hamin, because we were in a group chat, Idol and Beast and I go, you want to be on the Horseman? And Beast's like, yeah, I'll do. I go, no, I met him in the side chat afterwards. So, but I do want Beast on because he's actually a professional warrior, I would say. He's been on this super volcano kick since I was back in OVW. So he's very well versed in the super volcano of Yellowstone and the fault lines and things along those lines. So we'll definitely have Man Beast on down the road here as well, man, for sure.
Yeah, I've never even heard about super volcano stuff until you just mentioned it now. So I'm all ears when it comes to stuff like that. I love learning about new things, and this has been around for how long? How am I just hearing about this stuff now? So I can't wait to have you guys have them on so you can talk about it. That's really
Dude, I'll tell you, if super volcano goes off because of Planet X, and because that's why I believe, we saw that in the last 4 or 5 years, a huge uptake in earthquakes out west, and remember those booms underneath the ground and all that kind of stuff. If that's Planet X moving our core based on magnetic iron core, it's going to be firing up those pimples that we call super volcanoes. Right. And if it gets closer, that's what's going to make Yellowstone be a hole in the earth. Now, I mean, you go to Yellowstone or out there to the Black Hills and the Dakotas, and you can't. People in America who've never been there have no idea. You don't even feel like you're in America with these hot springs and sulfur springs, majestic mountains, animals that have never heard a gunshot, like that deer and donkeys that'll walk up to you right up to your car.
Yeah, crazy.
And the amount of natural pressure that's there based underneath the surface and the way you can see it, you know, there's holes in the ground with whether it's Old Faithful or whatever, you know, it's something way bigger than the small man. But then to study super volcano, that's the real, that's just the wrapping paper, what we see there.
Yeah,
what can
for sure
happen. So
yeah, it goes deep, man. And like we said, like when you're in that weird like nature-esque thing, like sitting on the shoreline somewhere looking out in the ocean, you know, it's crazy. You really do realize how small you are as an individual. You know, your species as a whole is, you know, we think that, oh, we're destroying the earth and we're doing this and we're doing that. Like, dude, it's like George Carlin said back in like the 80s, like if the earth didn't want you here, it'd just shiver and you'd be gone. You just woof, because that's how thin we are. Like you look out the window in the wintertime and you see a tiny little wren bird that's like 3 inches across with a little belly, and it's outside in like 20-degree weather and it's fine. You bring your ass out there for fucking 3 or 4 hours without a coat on, you see how good you survive. And you won't. Like you realize how fragile we really are. You know, it's crazy. And like you said, like the going to the hot springs and things like that, you just go, my God, nature is just could destroy me in the blink of an eye. Yeah, like when you go to the Grand Canyon and you look down and it almost doesn't even look real. It just looks like a painting. And you see like billy goats walking up the side of the mountain without any problem at all. But you see people trying to like hike and they can't get, you know, 10 feet straight up and they're huffing and puffing. Like we're, as a species, man, I don't understand like how, you know, physically, like we're really an underneath version of everything else that's out there. Like luckily we have the brain that can do it intellectually, but you know, physically speaking,
I don't know, but our self-importance because of that brain has us all fucked up. That's why me as an atheist, when you put it over there of like how insignificant we are, we think the God in the sky is hearing our prayers when the reality is the earth can open up and spew hot magma and we're all encased in fucking ashes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
ask the Phoenicians how that went.
Yeah.
With
stuff. Frank's Pickleball asks, says the wife would love to visit Yellowstone. I recommend it to everybody. Big Vito and Noel, they post every day. They're big Disney heads and like people love Disney. I know a ton of them do. I enjoyed it when I went, but I'm not like a psycho for it. But some people, that's their whole, thing. Like we have wrestling. But dude, I got to tell you, going to Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, that it blows Disney out of the water because it's not some shit somebody made functionally to like entertain you. When you go there, you feel humbled, awestruck. You see nature like you've never seen in your life before, and there's just a lot of even the old rustic stuff that's there is all upkept. You know what I mean? In some of the towns, we have Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where you go into the town, dude, and there's 40 elk in the middle of the town with huge 8x8, 6x6 racks. They're just sitting there chilling in the middle of the town, elk fucking squaring off, and it's unbelievable.
Well,
bro.
You see some of those videos online, like where people who live in the wilderness, who have been there for a long time, so they understand how to balance themselves with nature. And like they eat dinner on a picnic bench and they'll put like kibble on the table and like deers will come around them and eat right alongside them because they know how to treat the wildlife there. I mean, it's can be quite a majestic experience. Like
they're protected
time
too.
with like an animal like that. What's that?
They're protected, so they've never heard a gunshot and they don't know the fear of hunting seasons. You know what I mean? So, and once there is some crossover, like especially in the parks, but like when you have donkeys and raccoons that are being pretty much hand fed every day by tourists, they don't have any fear, and the rest of them see that and follow in kind. So, I mean, I don't say go up and fucking try and saddle up a moose.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, but you'll see people on the side of the road with spotting scopes, and there's 6 wolves out there, moose, grizzly bear running down the hill. And this all happens with like, you'll be in traffic and there's no fences. Hey, there's 80 buffalo walking down the middle of the road. So everyone's got to do 4 miles an hour until the buffalo decide to get the fuck off the road. It's an amazing experience that I think is highly under highlighted in American culture, bro, because we have pride in whatever of USA #1. I've heard that a couple times. But until you go and see that, then you really believe that USA may in fact actually be #1. And it's so kayfabed, bro, really, to be honest with you. So, man, good talk this morning. Appreciate everybody joining us. We're up to 23 now. Kicking ass here live for the Friday locker room. And you're not dreaming. Strangler Steve is here from the Wednesday locker room. Shout out to Bello and
Absolutely.
BOC. You guys absolutely killing it over there in the middle of the week, bro.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. I love those guys. The Andrew Bello, awesome young guy, fucking knows his wrestling. And obviously with BRV, not only wrestling, but the conspiracy horseman type stuff and like Infinite Fringe. They're both killing it. I love doing the Wednesday locker room with those guys. And you can follow them on Twitter at the Andrew Bello and at Obi-Wan You Know Me. And they're great follows online, especially with Bello. If you're into the political talk, conservative at heart, who, bases all of his opinion on fact. And so he's always fun to read on Twitter.
Absolutely. And your Twitter is now?
At Old Bitter Steve.
At Old Bitter Steve, give him a follow. You guys always fun, interactive stuff going on there with the Wednesday locker room, the People Show at Hamin Media Group. Absolutely, the most interactive listener show that we have on.
Fun one.
So awesome, guys! Awesome. Striz, should we stop delaying the pain? Should we get right to it here?
Rip the Band-Aid off, brother. Let's do it.
Okay, man. Boy, another Twitter account that a lot of people follow this week. Is Teddy Hart in jail? And the answer is
yes.
Yeah, Teddy Hart is in jail. Teddy Hart back in jail on multiple charges. Oh boy.
What did you do this time?
Bro, we'll find out. Professional wrestler Teddy Hart, real name Edward Annis, is behind bars after being arrested on February 10th. He's currently being held at Tarrant County Correction Center in Fort Worth, Texas. I wonder if the power was out while he's being arrested. Texas on charges of evading arrest with a vehicle, injuring a child/elderly/disabled individual.
Oh my God.
And possession of a controlled substance. Shocker there. Hart was specifically charged with possession of a, quote, penalty group 1 controlled substance, which in Tarrant County is the most serious class of illegal drugs, including
meth,
cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamines. The 41-year-old Canadian wrestling star has had numerous issues with the law over the years. He was arrested in October 2020 on the same charges, which actually stemmed from an earlier case in December 2016. So it's possible these incidents are linked. We'll keep you posted as more updates come available. I mean, we've watched this wrestling with tragedy story unfold over the last 15 years, really, to be honest with you. It's been a constant decline and push to like, oh, he's a wise guru who kicks out and he's going to get his shit together. But it's really just all a work, a pattern of behavior that's self-destructive, addictive, blackballed himself out of every company for his carny ways. And now there's no place left to go. And I think that reality has struck home at 41 years old, way too big. And the addiction side has taken over fully. Yeah.
I mean, this is, I met Teddy Hart years ago at the NWA 50th anniversary show in New Jersey. And I could tell he was a douchebag then. And it's good to see nothing's changed since. So, if I was Bret Hart, I would get a hold of Teddy and be like, you can't use my family's name. You're done using you can't be Teddy Hart anymore.
Yeah.
And if I was Bret, I would call every promoter that he works for and say, if you use him as Teddy Hart, I'm going to sue you, because he's just destroying the Hart family name. And, if this kid wants to go out there and do friggin' drugs, I mean, that's on him. He can pay the consequences with that when he dies at the age of 47 in a car somewhere in a Walmart parking lot. But don't take my family's name down with you. It's just terrible.
I don't see it working out, unfortunately, in a way that was. We talked about it briefly on Impact with Ray and I, which I still have to produce, the Impact Attack, a great show that we did yesterday, but I just ran out of time. Does it go the Shawn Michaels, Born Again, HBK, fake Christian route? And I don't want to knock them, but the other Johnny B. Bad, Mark Marrow going out and doing it, where I know HBK's is a bunch of bullshit and lip service. Yeah. And that's all this would be him to switch the evangelicals to work him. As soon as he walks off stage from talking to an elementary school, he's asking the janitor for fucking smack or fucking weed, right, whatever it is. That's how he's always going to be. And unfortunately, that usually ends in a wrestling with tragedy way.
We, as you know, obviously, we have a lot of industry people who listen to the shows on Hamin Media Group. And, some of them are promoters. If you're a promoter and you're booking Teddy Hart, unless you're like booking him so you can get fucked up with him, or you want to sell him drugs, which is probably the only two reasons I can imagine you would bring him on your show. You're a fucking moron to bring this kid into your building. Why do you want him even,
if he shows up at all?
Yeah, if he shows up at all. And secondly, do you want him being a cancer in your locker room? Because he's gonna ask you, "Hey, you got anything? What do you got over there?" Like we've seen people like this, and you have to weed them out. I don't understand how this kid keeps getting booked. I know for a long time he was really over in AAA down in Mexico, but I can't even imagine they want to bring him back there, because if you go to jail in Mexico, dude, it's no fucking joke, So I can't imagine like anybody wants to take the responsibility of having this kid anywhere within 50 miles of a show of theirs. I mean, all the bullshit it takes to run a show, all the money invested in and the advertising and stuff. Why? Who in their right mind would want to have this kid anywhere around your business?
And then even on the show, there's a chance during the match, if he shows up and he's straight enough to do it, that he's going to go into business for himself,
right,
and change the business of what you want done. So it's just a down the backside of the mountain, bro. Like the years of wearing glitter and being a club kid and living the gimmick and wearing pajamas that are all Hart Foundation. Like I'm talking silk, handmade stuff. Every day he'd wear that.
It's ridiculous. That says a lot about his personality, though. Obviously, like that's like a type of level of douchebag that takes years to unlock that type of idiocy.
Man, it's a heavy hitter morning here. John Hart, that former American Top Team manager, Colby Covington's Brain Trust, and obviously Cage Theory originator here at Hamin Media Group, which I just did Cage Theory with Blake Troop. Had a great discussion there. Talking the Usman fight and the transgender stuff going on in sports and Blake's future. But big shout out to Johnson, and always sending me good Bovada bets, and he's all about that doggy coin. So we're doing, and the new Hamin Investment Group is taking off too, with just some tips here and there. So we're enjoying all that camaraderie, man, using the social media what it should be for to make sure everybody's on the cusp of being able to get in on something, whether it's investing or what have you, sports betting, and what we're doing. Him and Javid doing big things, man. So
yeah, something for everybody, brother.
Always, dude. So much going on, and I'm glad these guys can take their own property and farm it out, because if I had to be overlooking everything, I'd be probably in a cell with. I'd be cellmates with Teddy. Millie McKenzie reportedly signs with WWE. Who?
I was going to ask you that. I thought you were waiting for a reaction. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this is.
Billy McKenzie just expected to sign to WWE NXT UK. The 20-year-old be joining the company to work for NXT UK brand. According to the report, there are big expectations for her as one of the top stars in the division. Why? We don't even know who she is, and she signed to NXT UK, the sub brand, but she's going to be the big star. Okay. She's former Defiant Women's Champion. I'm sure old Athers knows exactly who she is. Being another strong signing for the brand, she'll be a familiar face to NXT UK fans, though, as she has appeared before on the brand. She competed 3 times in 2018, having dark matches against Killer Kelly, Ginny, and Zia Brookside. Okay, whatever. But congratulations to you, young lady. Hopefully it doesn't go to your head and you try and protect your gimmick, whatever that's going to be. It looks like the cute blonde who suplexes. But more important than that to me is give big birthday shout out to NXT UK referee, a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of Chris Silvio's and Paradise Jimmy Package. Chris Sharp, you guys may know him as the Brie Bella bitch guy. Remember that when
I love that.
And then he did the big and he's also the referee that got his head kicked off by Walter. If you know that one as well, took some big boot. He's actually from Virginia with Paradise and Chris Silvio, totally awesome. And he has been going to shows since he was a baby. There's pictures of him with the Hebners being held up on shoulders. Wow. I mean, with Andre and everything. He's known the Hebners since he was born. So for him to be living his dream out, he's married to one of the Blossom twins as well. So he's full on wrestling lifestyle and just a great, great guy who always has a smile on his face, who never causes any problems anywhere, is always one of the first dudes to jump in the hole and understands how to do this because he went through full Rip Rogers training as well. And he's done it all since I was there on day one when he moved to OVW 2007, 2008. And now he's living it at the, hopefully he gets the main roster, but he's loving it on NXT UK the past couple years. But big shout out to Package Chris Sharp.
Hey, it's good that he's getting a spot after putting that many years. And even if it's like the UK thing, it's still a job. And like you said, you have to be ready to go. So like he's got the experience working up right now. He's probably going to get it in good with the office. You know how it is with referees. Like if you can do some good shit and you can be trusted, then you become a producer on the side, and slowly but surely, the roots go deeper and deeper. So good for him.
And he's got all that production knowledge too. I mean, that is great. I think he's going to have a job for life there. I don't see him having. Nice. If anybody's got heat with Package, you're the fucking problem. not Package. God damn it. I'm going to save that one. That one's terrible. One's those bad ones. Let's see. Just waiting for my browser to catch up with it. Seth Rollins. You might have heard of him. He hints that he may be getting a new entrance theme song. Well, that'll get him over. When Seth Rollins recently returned to WWE, he did so with his old "Burn It Down" entrance song. But could a new one be coming? Despite the reverting to the old song, Rollins still kept his Messiah gimmick. And during an appearance on the Bump, Rollins admitted that the song doesn't quite fit, hinting another song might be coming in the future. Big fucking deal. Well, but the guy shows up in a full leather suit, leather shirt, leather tie, and still has the Mafia one black hand glove on. I mean, this segment was abysmal as them walking out on it. That was actually my favorite part. Go ahead, Strang.
Well, I'm going to say the guy's off TV for 4 fucking months. I think if you're going to have him come back, you would have that song produced and ready to go by the time he came back. So when you want to turn that corner and start a new chapter with somebody, boom, you're ready to go. Brand new, paint job, and he's off to the races. And did anybody think that he was going to come out and really be a baby face dressed in all fucking leather? Because lots of baby faces love to dress from head to toe in leather. A leather shirt with a leather tie, fantastic. Like that's almost as good as like the total denim outfit with all different shades of blue. Terrible. Like nobody in WWE gets it. Nobody can read the room. And this is, we'll have him go out there, and because he's a new dad, say he wants to start this new thing, and then he ends up being the same old scumbag. Like, nobody thought when the guy came out to that fucking song and to that outfit that he was going to be this number one top baby face. It's like, no, more of the same, more bullshit. And from what we heard before he went to go away so he could be with Becky as they had their baby. No, did you think that like that gimmick got over so well that we wanted more of it when he came back? I mean, this would have been a great opportunity for him to come back. WWE needs baby faces right now. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's a gaping hole in baby faces. And Seth had a fairly decent run as a baby face, so they could have really jump-started something going into Mania. Now, if he comes back, he teases, I may be a baby face, but haha, kidding, I'm a heel again. So then if he goes to become a babyface, say like after Mania, whatever the situation may be, you know how they try to do these turns. Who the fuck's going to care? It's like you've been a babyface 3 times. You've been a heel 3 times. You can't trust the guy.
You get over with either of them. You weren't over on either side either.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand what they expect. Somebody in the office sees something in Seth Rollins that you and I don't see. But we've seen all the work that he's done in the ring. It's been the same 25-minute match he's had for the last 4 or 5 years coming out of the Shield. So what more are you going to get in the context of a wrestling match, bell to bell, that's going to help perpetuate whatever storyline he's in? Regardless of the storyline, you get the exact same match every single time. So what's the difference? Either he ends up going over or he slips on a banana peel. What's the difference? Afterwards, he just does a promo to get out of whatever the situation was anyway, and it's still the same nasally fucking promo. So since he was in the fucking Shield, what have we seen that's going to elevate him to get higher into that? When you accept him, this is the new babyface of the company, like that John Cena role. It's not going to happen with this guy. So whoever sees whatever they see in Seth Rollins, someone has to tap that guy on the shoulder and be like, "This isn't the guy you think he is. We need to find somebody else," because it's not Seth.
Hasn't been over in anything. He gets the spots, but is it memorable where everyone's like, that Seth fucking thing was awesome? I've never said that once in my life.
Yeah.
And like for the babyface stuff with the returning dad, you don't come out in a fucking leather suit, satanic bullshit. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
you didn't do that when, like, one of your 400 wives had a baby. Oh, let me get my leather outfit on.
put this on.
I'll get the armor. I'll really polish it up.
That's what I was gonna say. You're going down that dark hole. Well, to do all you need is some Flex Seal, and you can cover up your dark hole. And,
Terrible.
Yeah, dude, that was I popped because I did look like rhino lining pants she had on there.
Yeah, another person who just couldn't read the room if her life depended on it.
Oh well. I mean, if there was a dollar menu sign in the room, she could probably
read that a mile away, right?
She got the McDonald's Braille menu committed to
That feels like a lot like a double cheeseburger.
Cody Rhodes admits he wants to face Sting. Oh, Cody admits that he's very interested in getting into the ring with Sting, expressing his desire to have a match. Cody recently spoke to the New York Post, where he discusses Sting's return, spoke how he wanted to wrestle him, even if it's in a cinematic situation. He says, to me, cinematic matches, they really don't have a current definition. I've seen Stadium Stampede. I've seen the Boneyard match. I've seen different ways to present cinematic, or really cinematic just means different camera cuts. It can mean a lot of things, but ask me that question again in a few months because I want the opportunity to stand across from the Stinger. I think he knows that. I'm also kind of itching at me under my skin that if somebody I wanted to beat, it's the face of TNT's hottest period and run, I'm going to be watching like everyone else at Revolution, and then that decision will become a little bit more clear what happens at Revolution and how him and Darby are able to navigate that stream. Then ask me in a few months and I'll have a better answer for you. Yeah, dude, whatever. Like Cody versus Sting, so we get to see some lockups and woo in his fucking face back and forth, and just as rotten as it could possibly a Sting match could be. You know what I mean? Twice as bad.
Sting should never wrestle another match ever again in his life.
No. But to follow up on that, last night, Sting power bombed on AEW Dynamite.
I hope it was directly into the buckle.
Yeah, that'd be a fast jump ship. It will be. Tonight's show saw Stinger confront Team Taz ahead of their match at AEW Revolution. Taz taunted the Icon, saying he relies on a baseball bat to bail him out of fights, and that without a weapon, Sting wasn't nothing. Brother, you're nothing without that bat. Sting responded by throwing his jacket at Brian Cage. Oof. Who then attacked him. Yeah, Sting got in a few punches before taking a kick to the stomach and a power bomb from Cage. Despite being signed with AEW over 2 months, this is the first time Sting has taken hits inside the All Elite squared circle. So why not give him a power bomb out of the fucking game?
Fuck it. Maybe try to land him on his neck. Hey, do you think Khan regrets cutting a $45,000 a week check to this guy yet, or what?
Oh, no, because he's a fucking massive just as long as he goes, hit Sting, and then fucking Khan is blasting in his pants back.
I still haven't watched AEW. Actually, I watched the Brody tribute show, which was really nice. But other than that, I watched the first 3 weeks they were on TV, and I had to turn it off because I was screaming at my television with all the missed opportunities. And I've seen like clips here and there, like whatever people will post online. Dude, that fucking show is terrible. I just can't sit and watch it because all I see is like all these guys who are fairly over in the indies, especially when, we were running 2CW because we know how to actually fucking book people in decent situations. And then you see them on TV just one missed opportunity after another, money being left on the table time and time again. And it's just, I can't deal with this. Like, they wouldn't possibly hire two dudes who know how to run a locker room, because Khan is such a fucking mark for himself that this is a toy box for him. Daddy gave him money to fucking go and have some friends for a couple of years. So he's not going to hire people to book the show because that's all he wanted to do. He bought himself a booker's job, and he gets to play boss and hold court a couple times a week and feel like a real important guy. But meanwhile, the show's ratings are in the fucking shitter, and this should still feel like a brand spanking new organization. It's only like a year and a half old, and already it's completely fucking played out. They haven't brought in any new faces. They bring in a new face. The new face is a 62-year-old who's been on TV, for 25 years and can't give you any kind of payoff that you've invested into him. So it shows you the lack of like, acumen on trying to run a real business. Because if it was a real business, they wouldn't have touched Sting unless he came in for like, $250,000 a year, where you can make that money back on merch, not $3 fucking million a year for 3 years, a $9 million investment, which has no chance in hell in paying off, especially when they signed him during COVID, so they already weren't selling tickets to shows.
100%. I mean, you book them for three things before a big pay-per-view payoff. The pay-per-view and 2 spots before that. You don't sign them for a year, and now this guy's taking power bombs. And why is he even agreeing to take a power bomb, bro? What is that doing for anybody? No, nothing.
How was the bump?
I didn't see it yet. I still have to watch that before we do Light the Fuse at 1. But I'm sure phenomenal. As great as you want it to be.
I listen to Light the Fuse every single week because I love your take on it, and I love Silvio and MSG. You guys, everybody really puts it on the show. That's the only way I get any AEW news is by listening to that. Now, when people say like they don't watch Raw, they listen to the Wednesday Locker Room. It's like I get it because I'm not wasting 2 hours watching AEW. I'll just listen to you guys bitch about missed opportunities. And by the way, if Silvio is listening, how you haven't noticed how terrible that Aubrey, the referee, is for overselling everything, I'll never understand. But you'll send me clips of her selling shit in the ring, and it boils my fucking blood to watch her do that kind of shit. Yeah. Like, dude, you're supposed to be invisible. Just be there for the 3 count and get the fuck off camera.
I gotta say though, as hard as I buried her last week, maybe she heard and it got back to her, because during Serena and Rio this week, she was as out of the way and as small as possible as compared
to
Serena and Rio.
Serena?
Yeah.
You don't think it got back to her? Like, lay the fuck out?
Oh,
I have my fucking match.
Believe me, I sent Deeb the memes too.
Yeah. So she's probably like, listen, this is a match between me and this other wrestler. Just stand the fuck in the corner and be there when you need to be.
Yep. So like as bad as she was last week, she was pretty damn good this week, but that don't do much for me.
Oh, maybe she's learning.
Well, it's the fact that Serena doesn't do a ton of big, crazy fucking bumps and actually wrestles in her match. Right. So it takes away the opportunity for Aubrey to sell like an idiot.
Good God. Yeah.
So yeah, dude, absolutely. Cody on commentary last night was talking about Shaq, but kind of fabing it because he was like trying to move past that business, and that was odd too. So they've set themselves up on 3-3 with the wife was supposed to be in it, gets pregnant, and fucking all the da 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 da.
So they're not doing the Shaq thing anymore.
I think they are, but they're trying to like not hype it how it should be because they know it's going to be a huge steaming fucking pile of shit.
Maybe they like went to rehearse something and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna really fucking suck."
Well, they don't. His wife's not in it anymore now that she was going to save the match. Then Jade Cargill has got a team with Shaq. There's nobody with any experience on their side, and now Red Velvet is the stand-in, and who knows what she's capable of, So
good God,
there's one worker in this match, bro, who's got. This is.
He's been up at night, like thinking, how am I going to get through? We have to do 8 minutes. It's just going to be nothing but story, I imagine. There'll be 3 bumps, all taken by Cody, and then we'll go right into the finish.
Yeah, I mean, Shaq with a choke slam, and that's all she wrote, bro. And I'd even have the girls try and go over and do the finish instead of trying to have Shaq do something. You never know what could go terrible.
Shaq's partner gets behind Cody. Shaq pushes Cody, old schoolboy push, stacks him up. 1, 2, 3. But that makes Cody look like a douchebag because isn't he a babyface? Is Cody a babyface or a heel? I don't know.
It depends on the matches.
He acts like a fucking heel. But he's booked as a babyface. I don't know how that works.
All you gotta do is get him on his back and have Shaq stand on his chest and work comedy stupid pin, but it'll at least get the fucking segment over and done with. Hit him with the black tornado and we're out of there.
Right, because if the finish is on anybody other than the 2 stars in that match, it's flat.
Yeah. Let's see here. And do I want to save that too? Yeah, I'm going to save these harsh ones for the end. We'll come rapid fire with them. Speaking of super earthquakes earlier, New Japan cancels Road to Castle Attack show due to earthquake damage. Castle attack.
I don't know. It must like lose something in translation.
Yeah, the Total Crown Arena in Fukushima, they're doing really good over there.
Yeah,
where the show was set to take place, unfortunately sustained some damage after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck the area on Saturday. Thankfully, there have been no reported casualties. Wow, 7.1 magnitude. Well, that's probably because everybody's dead from the first Fukushima fuck over of building a goddamn fucking nuclear power plant on the biggest fault line in Japan on an active volcano.
Yeah,
they're super smart with their booking over there.
They know what they're doing.
And old Japan, I guess.
Speaking of the earthquake, Rayon Fujiwara, the Australian kid who lives in Japan, who did some stuff with 2CW. I talk to him all the time. He said that was the biggest earthquake he's ever felt in the 12 or 13 years he's been living in Japan. Wow. So it must have been 7.1. That's no joke.
No, that's a big quake, no doubt about it. But to have nobody hurt or killed, that's pretty incredible.
That's crazy. The Japanese engineering, I guess.
New Japan released the following statement. Sunday, February 21st was set to see 7 nights or night 7 of the Road to Castle attack tour in Fukushima's Toyota Crown Arena after the earthquake near Fukushima struck on Saturday, the 13th. The venue has incurred some damage, and in interest of safety, New Japan Pro Wrestling has arrived at the difficult decision to cancel the event. Ticket holders will be refunded with a refund procedure to be made available soon. We apologize to fans who are looking forward to the event and appreciate your understanding. All I can think of is the Road to the Castle. Is I liked I can't remember the Japanese guy's name, something's Castle, which became Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, and that was one of my favorite shows of all time. Watching Asians getting fucking wiped out in
those game shows are finally making it into America with John Cena as the host. And
they're nowhere near as awesome without the overdubbed fucking commentary and the Asian fucking stereotypes on it. But I was something's Castle, I can't remember what it is, but I was hoping that the whole cast of New Japan to Takashi's Castle, I was hoping they'd all storm it, and then they'd have that. Now that'd be a New Japan show I watch, slamming them into walls and shit like that. That'd be something.
Maybe Jargo could do commentary on those game shows.
Absolutely, he could. He knows them all. Why not? Kyle O'Reilly injury update. This is so stupid by Wrestle Stink, but obviously, look who's running it. Exclusive Kyle O'Reilly stretcher job on NXT was a work. That's the That's the headline. Fuck you, bro. As previously noted, Kyle O'Reilly was stretched out during Wednesday's episode of NXT. He was attended to by Triple Game, Finn Balor, and other officials. I first heard that O'Reilly was with Cole backstage, and he was responsive after the incident. I was then able to confirm that they were just selling the closing angle on the show, and the incident was a work from Raj Giri. Like, dude, you think this shit's real, Raj Giri, to put it over, and then it's a work, everybody. It's a work.
Where are you more pissed in this scenario? The fact that they would respond that something that happened in a wrestling ring is a work, or the fact that the office was like, no, they were just selling. Don't worry, they're okay. And then you wonder why nobody watches this shit.
Well, I don't put the heat on the office on this one. I put the heat on Raj Giri, who should be protecting the business. If he bid on it, don't come out and put it's a work in the fucking headline.
Yeah.
I've outlined whatever of Hausman's stupidness, and people are like, Raj Giri seems like a nice guy. I'm like, yeah, he is from what I've known of him or what have you.
I'm sure he's a fine fella.
That type of shit shows me he's half a dumb fuck.
Yeah. That's just
absurd. Dude, do not do that dumb shit. And there shouldn't be. And here's the other thing with the debut of Young Rock, which I haven't seen. I know you were giving thoughts on it. I'll definitely give you the floor here on that. But how long is it until every asshole is now talking like the Good Brothers and Kevin Keenan and all that kind of shit with the fucking Carney talk, and that becomes normalized? That'll become the new Valley Girl shit of 2022, 2023.
Yep, I was going to tweet out during the Young Rock and hashtag Young Rock because that's what they were using for the show. Yeah. And I say, if I hear you in person say, work the fucking gimmick, I will punch you straight in your fucking mouth. If I hear that saying one more time, that could have been a drinking game during the show.
Yeah.
Is that they must have said that fucking phrase 47 fucking times, or probably 33 with The Rock being a part of it. But it was so overdone, it was ridiculous. And he made his father look like a goddamn idiot on that show by having him, act the way he was. I'm not saying he probably didn't do those things, but you didn't put your dad, because one of the lines The Rock said is, "My dad was my hero," then proceeds to make him look like a fucking fool during this show. So it's ridiculous. The best thing about the show is that it was 30 minutes long. And thank God it wasn't any longer than that, because with commercials, it's like 22 minutes. You're in, you're out. Move the fuck on, because it was garbage. And then like every show they're gonna have like a part where he's a kid, then a teenager, then coming into the business, because they've already went through every character, phase of his life during the first show. So is this something we have to watch every week now? Like they should have just done the whole first season. Could have been him as a child, like living in Hawaii, like when like the grandfather was running shows. And
that's the Wonder Year. Why they did that on Fresh Off the Boat, even though they mixed in the hip hop 90s stuff with it. That's what this is a knockoff of. Exactly, but with the celebrity angle. But they didn't even follow the formula of how we want to follow the hero's journey to get 6 or 7 seasons. They're killing it all in season 1 by
blowing it all.
Love them, bro.
And I texted you during the show, and I was like, obviously the agenda pushes there. The 2032 thing where he's running for president on TV, but he's got to talk about his life and talk about how he had a 5-finger discount when he was fucking 16 years old so he could impress a girl by wearing a nice shirt. It's like he's already fucking paving the road, and we have to, like, by the time it happens, you have to accept it as this has already happened. We knew this was going to happen. He had that show back in 2021. So it's ridiculous, like the programming going on here with all this shit. It's just it's nauseating to the highest degree.
And we're in that 10% who see it all, but the reality is it's for the 85%ers to have them wormed back into his life, whether it was Jumanji to this to that, and the Nancy Browns in Wisconsin. That's just the operant conditioning, bro, that will lead us to off the edge of the cliff. You know what I mean?
And during the show, he's like, who hasn't had a little 5-finger discount? Like me, I've never stolen anything. Is that my white privilege showing through that I never actually stole a fucking shirt? Like that's ridiculous. Oh, well, everybody's done that. So it's kind of sweep it under the rug and totally make it seem like, no, there's no big deal about stealing shit. Like, so the guy's already planning on running for president. But I have to let you know, I banged a couple of chicks in college, and I did this and I did that. Just so like when it comes to a head, when he actually does run for president, he talked about that on his show 10 years ago. That's so yesterday's news.
100%, but it's the programming after he flipped for Kamala and Biden when he's a known conservative. Like, it just shows the Hollywood gay mafia and who they're putting their money behind. Just Incredible in the chat. I hope it's the real deal from Russo Branner. And obviously we worked with him plenty of shows, 2CW. And if you're just a Just Incredible fan, appreciate you too. But if that's you, PJ, good morning to you, pal. He says, Ben, did you already talk about Sammy Guevara not wanting to work and put over Impact? My thoughts on that. I don't see where to me it feels like a work. I'm sure Raj Giri will expose it soon enough on the headline. But the way that Sammy left the inner circle and then walked out of the arena and they showed all that, to me, that's like part of an angle where they're trying to sell it as a work shoot. So he leaves, and then that story drops right on the heels of that. Because if he really had heat, why would you give him a send-off thing? Like, you're like, oh, Sammy, you're not going to work. We want you to work Impact. I'm not doing it. Okay, well, then you're out of the inner circle. But let's film these vignettes and your exit. If you didn't want to do biz, you just be done. And we'd say, you're out of there. I don't know.
You don't reward people with more camera time by not wanting to go along with an angle.
I think he'd be great to show up. And I think it is a work. And I think he's going to show up to face what's his name? The X Division champion, TJP. I think he'll get a good match. Yeah, he'll get put in there. It's not PJ, it's Mark from the old. So, but shout out to Just Incredible as well. I saw, dude, and this was kind of a kayfabe thing that was and wasn't, but he worked a match with Hannibal. And Hannibal, tried to, I don't know, do whatever, but he hard weighed PJ and PJ, and dude, Justin's not in the best shape at all right now. And I want him to get healthier. And it seemed like Hannibal was hot about that and took liberties. I talked to John Paz a little bit about it because he's in touch with both of them. But I don't know, dude. When you're getting a shine from any star, you protect them twice as much, no matter what shape they're in, because he's more over than you. And to see somebody like Hannibal, who's been in this business since Dirty South wrestling days, tuning up a guy who's not at his peak,
right?
That didn't leave a good taste in my mouth, bro.
Yeah, it's tough because it's a double-edged sword, Like, do you remember when Gordy in 2CW was in the ring with Sandman, and Sandman was drunk as shit?
Yeah.
And you're in that position of, I don't know what to do. This guy's a big name. Do I knock him out and just go pin him, or do I just leave the ring and get counted out? This was my big moment. I was supposed to work with a star, and the guy just lets you down left and right. And he fell asleep during the match with Gordy. Like, what am I supposed to do here? There's no right or wrong answer. There are some guys that'll be like, F you, and knock the guy out. But he kind of got through it, luckily, and got the match to happen, and that was it. But when you're in the ring with a guy who might be kind of inebriated, I'm not saying that's what happened with PJ, but you have to do your best to make sure he doesn't hurt you or himself. Like, do whatever you can. Small package the guy 1, 2, 3 and get out of the ring, or take a count out. But the promoter has to know the talent before they're in the ring. Like, can this guy go right now? Is this happening right now? And you got to make some tough calls sometimes. Like when Razor went to the ring, even though he wasn't like scheduled to really do anything in a match, but he was in a wheelchair, and I can't remember the promoter's name, somewhere in New England. Steve, I can't remember his last name, not Perkins, but a different guy, had Razor on a show. Razor was, inebriated and did the put him up, thing. And it was, so what do you do? Do you fucking break Scott Hall's fucking leg? No, you can't do that, because you might be hot, and this was going to be a great moment for you, but you gotta fucking do your best you can to protect the guy and get him back.
You got a promo. If you're in a situation like that, all they can really do is promo, maybe shoot Justin into the corner while he's got the kendo stick there, or he hits you with a kendo stick out of the gate. You sell to the corner, and you put over the weight that he's put on and let him splash you, fall out again, turn, stumble back, another kendo stick shot, and let him pin you. You don't get shit on him.
Right. Just let him eat you up and take it home. I'll tell you right now, though, if I was working with somebody who had a kendo stick and I didn't think they were right in the head, they're not coming even close to me with that fucking thing. So
I'd let them, but I'd be right here with it.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. It's a tough call. It's all a matter of the situation you're in at the time, I guess. But, you just do your best you can to be like, all right, let's get back to the locker room ASAP. But the thing that sucks the most is that you're hurting your fans. Their experience is tainted, and your company is tainted. And then it also hurts the other companies who want to come around and work the same neighborhoods and towns and buildings, because everybody just conglomerates indie wrestling into one organization. They don't differentiate, because all the talent works all the shows. So to them, wrestling is wrestling is wrestling. So if they went and spent $25 to get in an indie show and that's what they got, they're not coming back. So business was hurt all around the horn, and everything has to start at the top. As a promoter, or if you're the one running the locker room, if you see this guy isn't able to go out there, don't let him go out there. I don't care how much he begs and pleads. You take the fucking pencil, you cross that shit off, and you move the fuck on.
What was the feeling backstage? Because this is before my 2CW tenure, when Sandman is.
I wasn't there. Josh had fired me at that point. I was in Arizona. I had opened up my restaurant, but I told Gordy, and I was wrong at the time. I said, dude, if he did that to me, I would have crushed him. I would have broken his jaw, but that's wrong. And that was like me from 15 years ago, still being a hothead. The best thing you could have done is pinned him and taken him, pretend fight him back to the locker room. Right. That's pretty much all you can do. Just get him out of the ring, get him away from the fans. The fans got their entrance. That's all Sandman is. You get the Sandman entrance. You get the crush to the beer on the head. You have him have the cigarette. The fans sing along. You fucking roll him up 1, 2, 3, or have him roll you up 1, 2, 3. Get the fuck out of there. The fans got what they wanted. But from speaking in the 2021 sense, if you see the guy can't go, don't let him go out there. There's just too much on the line.
Or you got to have somebody on standby who can go out and do a run in if you need to call the audible to lay out the guy that you're going to further do business with, and then he can stand there with Sandman and pose down, and he's over.
It's a terrible look for everybody involved.
It's bad, man. And last shows I've worked with Sandman, 3 or 4, sober, thin, like,
I heard he's doing well.
Yes, much improved. And I hope Justin can get on that program too, man. Because
Justin's a good guy, man. He's got a good heart. I hate to see him go through the turmoil, but I mean, sometimes we can be our own worst nightmares, and our own enemies. So I think once some people get into their own heads, it's really tough for them to break out of that system. But he's a super smart guy. He's a student of the business. He knows how to do this. He's working himself up from doing jobs. I was doing jobs when he was doing jobs when he was still just PJ Walker. I remember when he got his big break doing the Portuguese Man of War, and he got ribs from the back from that because it was a silly gimmick, but they wanted to have a Brazilian crossover star because they were going to start, syndicating in Brazil. So it made a lot of sense. So they took him and tried to do that, and he wanted to leave and go to ECW. So he's been around at every level of the game. It's too bad because he has so much he can offer, by being a trainer or by being a producer. He should be at like the performance center training kids on how to do jobs, how to take a proper bump, how to protect yourself, how to build yourself from being that guy who's an entry-level worker into being more, and to becoming a carpenter. He's the perfect guy to have do that. And he's still young enough. He's my age. He's like in his mid-40s. He could be doing all that stuff because he should still have the physical capability of being able to do that because he's not quite around that corner of 50 yet, but he can still be able to tell kids, this is what you want to do to get further along. And he'd be the perfect guy for that. But how can they trust him in that position if he can't get out of that echo chamber?
I don't think they can, man. And on the sidelines, I'm sure you got DDP salivating to make his next documentary at the same time off him.
Yeah. That's tough. When a lot of people can make money off of your misery, it's a tough thing to break out of.
Yeah. Hollywood actor Kevin James recalls wrestling Mick Foley. Kevin James was a recent guest on the show Hot Ones, where he told a story about knowing Mick Foley. The two men were actually on the same high school wrestling team, and James spoke about what a young Mick Foley was like. He said, I played football. I'd never wrestled before, but they needed another heavyweight to go with Mick on the team, so they brought me over. And we had some battles. I used to throw him around a little more. I think I was in better shape than him. James recalls how Mick went on jumping off his roof. He goes, that's where the mind for pro wrestling was developing. I remember him jumping off his roof onto cardboard boxes. He was just doing these weird things, and he's the nicest guy ever. He's incredible, writes children's books, does so much for charity. He's a great guy, but he's definitely a little off. And he's definitely been a little off the last year as Dewey crosses over into the Obama camp, and I'm sure is suckholing his way for an internship at Netflix at this time. And we've seen Foley doing a lot of strange SJW liberal retweets and wanting Trump banned from the Hall of Fame. Like, what are you doing
during the insurrection? Let's talk about the Wrestling Hall of Fame that doesn't exist. Just absolutely silly. Have you seen the picture of the wrestling team with Kevin James and Mick Foley on it? It's in one of Mick Foley's books. Kevin James was no slouch, dude. He was jacked back in high school. He was really put together. And they both look exactly the same. And the Kevin James is like 5'8", 5'9", and Mick Foley is like 6'2" in high school. So you see the variance. But I think Mick Foley had written in his book that Kevin James was the scariest guy in his high school, which is hilarious because think of how much comedic timing he has, and he's a really funny dude and really lovable looking guy because he's got that teddy bear look nowadays because he's a big heavy dude, whatever. But like back in his day, he was like the most feared dude in the high school. So it's crazy to see how things change like that. Like deep inside, he didn't want to be that scary guy. He just wanted to be a comedian. So it's crazy, like the exterior that we build, but like the interior can be so much different.
It's usually the opposite of that too. The fat, funny guy, Chris Farley, also a great athlete in high school football and whatnot. But usually the fat guy in comedy is extra funny because he's protecting himself, and it's a
sensitivity level. Yeah,
it's a defense mechanism that's been sharpened. But I agree with you. He did look like a mini Brock Lesnar almost.
Yeah, he was big.
So I hope there's even some amateur. Would there have been any way to record aside from reel-to-reel tape? I don't think there was camcorders.
Maybe those old school
Foley was jumping off his roof, and they got that. So maybe there is some old footage out there.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, very cool. And then eat some hot wings. Let's see here. Here's a tough one. I just sent K100 a DM. I don't have Conan's DMs, but he's reportedly hospitalized right now. On the latest edition of Meltzer Seltzer, he revealed that WCW legend Conan, age 57, has been hospitalized. Conan's reportedly suffering from a kidney issue. Meltzer noted that the situation is serious. However, noted there are no other details at this time. Conan had a kidney transplant in 2007. There were complications at the time, but Conan was in good health soon after. Conan has said that painkillers and anti-inflammatory drugs ruined his kidney. He also underwent hip replacement surgery in 2018 as well. Yeah, big shout out to K-Dog, man. I hope they get everything regulated, that he doesn't have to do dialysis and all that kind of stuff, and that they can flush his system out and whatever kidney infection or that he's suffering through right now. Because I've had 4 kidney stones.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I've had 4 lithotripsies, and it's a motherfucker. So I can only imagine, what he's going through with replacement, hip surgery, just down for the count right now. And sometimes you just got to lay there and take it while your body is on the mend, and they pump whatever intravenously through you to try and flush everything out. So definitely send K100 a big kazoo and how do you do, bro? And say what's up to Conan, man. It's one of the only other platforms. I listen to some Cornette, but K100 is the only other wrestling platform I listen to aside from Russo and Hamin Media Group, and a lot of for those guys.
Do you think Brutal Bob Evans is like, good, fuck you?
Him and Kevin.
My name like that. Yeah,
him and Kevin.
Dude, Conan's awesome. At least he's in the right place. He's in the hospital rather than being alone on a couch somewhere at home and he can't get any access to any, hospital. So he's where he needs to be. So that's good. I hope he can battle out of it because he's a great brain for the business. A guy is a tremendous wrestler. When he trained Bret Hart on how to do the sharpshooter, the thing that Bret made the most money with in his career. Right. Conan showed him how to do it. So that should tell anybody who isn't that familiar with Conan what he can, do. In fact, Conan actually does my very favorite submission hold of all time, the Tequila Sunrise. I always marked out for that. I love
that. Serena has taken it as
Did
her.
She really?
Yes, and
love it. I'm gonna have to check that out. I love that fucking move. Not a lot of people can do it. So I'd love to see her do it the right way. I'm a huge Conan fan. I've seen him in Mexico City a bunch of times, and just a tremendous hand. I actually saw his dark match. I was in Worcester Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts, back in like the early 90s when he came in to do the tryout for Max Moon, because he was the first Max Moon before they gave it to Paul, the dude from he was Kato in Orient Express.
Oh, okay.
When Kato wore a hood. Paul Diamond, I think his name was. He later gave the Max Moon gimmick to Paul Diamond, but he came in the tryout for Conan did, and I was there for that tryout. It was actually the same taping where Razor Ramon debuted after all the weeks and weeks of vignettes. So it was a pretty cool show. And I'm a huge Conan fan, so I hope he gets all the treatment he needs, and kazoos to Conan right now in the best way possible.
Yeah, and I kind of pop for this too a little bit. Nobody worth remembering says, and Tony lectures Khan. So Tony Khan goes into business for himself 2 days ago saying, if Conan says I don't know how to write, that means he doesn't know how to write, because I booked the Young Bucks versus Omega in AAA, and that was your most successful storyline of the year. So if I don't know what I'm doing, you don't know what you're doing, Conan. Yeah. And it's awkward and cringeworthy. And do you remember what that finish was of the Young Bucks Omega storyline?
No.
That's neither does anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. That never matters. It's just get the match in the fucking ring and let the fans pop for shit. That's pretty much all it is. And that's just so I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
Instead of
stones will break my bones and names will never hurt me.
Instead of accepting the fact that, hey, Conan might be right about my booking, but instead I'll come over with one obscure reference out of my little fucking database brain and fucking try and put it over. But then Conan,
he had the note written in his little captain's log fucking book that he has that he takes with him.
Absolutely. But now Conan playing the sympathy card here.
All the money in the world.
Conan looks like an asshole, right? Yeah, no, you can't buy cool, bro. You can't buy sense and sensibility. Let's see here. 4 left. Eeny, meeny, miny, this one. More on Sonia Deville's stalker possibly not standing trial. As previously reported, depositions in the criminal case against Philip A. Thomas II, the man who tried to kidnap Sonia Deville at her home last year, have started. Mandy Rose, who was with Deville the night of the attempted kidnapping, was deposed earlier this month. Deville gave her deposition this past Saturday via a Zoom call. On February 1st, Tom's lawyer petitioned the court to have a mental health competency exam completed to see if Thomas can stand trial. The petition was approved the following day, and an expert was appointed to determine if Thomas is mentally competent to stand trial. Russell Stink has learned that the expert has until this Friday, February 19th, to complete the report. If the expert decides that Thomas isn't competent to proceed, they will have to report on the recommended treatment for Thomas to attain competence to continue. The expert will also consider if Thomas meets the criteria for involuntary commitment. The case for involuntary commitment will be if Thomas has a mental illness, and because of that mental illness, he is either A, incapable of surviving alone or without help of a willing or responsible family or friends, and without treatment, he is likely to suffer from neglect or refuse to take care of himself, which would be a present threat to their well-being. Or B, the substantial chance that the defendant will inflict serious bodily harm on himself or another person. The next court date is February 25th, and at that time, the courts will decide if Thomas is competent to stand trial. Thomas is facing life in prison on charges of aggravated stalking, armed burglary of a dwelling, attempted armed kidnapping, and criminal mischief for the incident at Deville's home on August 16th, 2020. Deville recently returned to WWE television after a loser leaves WWE match. What a fucking follow-up on that is. Like, they got to put over the shit storyline that wrote him off. I think if you're even a lawyer worth half of his fucking salt, I got to believe this guy's got a public defender, though, because I don't think he's got any big fucking legal defense fund. The guy's here to do kidnappings and possible murder. And so the substantial chance that the defendant will inflict serious bodily harm on himself or another person, I believe, is the way I would go if I was arguing it, to try and get this guy's things stepped down to get him off of life in prison and maybe mental facility for the next years, Yeah,
I'll put it to you like this. If she didn't know, if they didn't discover that guy was in her house, she'd be fucking dead right now. So this guy has to go fucking somewhere. He can't be like trusted to be like back into like society, because he'll do this again with somebody else. That's my opinion on it. I'm no psychologist. I'm not a shrink. I don't know. But all I can say is if you're willing to stay in her house for hours on end with fucking zip ties and fucking tape and knives and all this kind of shit, you're not right in the fucking head. So you got to go somewhere. So if you put him in a mental facility versus a prison, at least he's out of the public view. If he needs to go to a mental facility, fine. Just get him off the fucking street. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like the fucking whoop whoop juggalo fucking dude. Like he in prison, this guy's done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's done.
Yeah. And as far as Sonia Deville goes, it's good to see her back on TV, because that screwed with her mentally. That would fuck anybody mentally for years to come. Like every time you come home, you're gonna be wondering, am I alone? That's the rest of your life. So for her to be able to kind of reassimilate back on the TV and have this public role again, even though the ratings, regardless, like not millions and millions of people watching, but still you're putting yourself out there. Mm-hmm. I think she's doing a great job on TV. I like her new role. I think they have her in the right position where she's not having wrestling matches, because we just don't need another female wrestler at the time. So what she's doing is developing her character, which is fantastic, because that means TV, that means money, that means no bumps. So it's great. Yep. And I love the business suits. I think she looks fucking sharp. She looks good. She's well-spoken. I like the rapport she's having with Adam Pearce. I think they're making a good team. They can start playing the good cop, bad cop soon. I'm imagining that's what they were going to go with that. Mm-hmm. And, I hope that I wish nothing but the best for her. I think she's doing a great job. And I think this is the best position she's ever been in, rather than being like the fifth MMA fighter gimmick on TV. So, kudos to her. I wish her a lot of luck, and hopefully this guy gets the help that he needs, because he certainly shouldn't be kind of like allowed to like be walking through Walmart's eyeballing who's next.
The help that he needs is to have his fucking head held underwater for about 4 or 5 minutes. That's the help that he needs, really. That's the only way you're going to help this fuckface. Yeah. But I agree with everything you said there on the authority figure, the power suits, the getting the character over, having a women's authority figure that's as strong equally. I think it's a very good look for her right now, especially if she's got to hop in and hop out to do these types of things and take care of this business. Who gives a shit about wrestling?
Yeah, what's one more match going to do for her?
Nothing. Not a thing.
The whole next year, she should be in this position.
Yeah. Boom. So fuck that guy. I hope he does get fucked over, but whatever, man.
Not for nothing, not to delay the next story, but Sonia Deville was actually really coming into her own when they were starting to do that breakup with Mandy Rose, where her promos are a little bit on the schizophrenic side, but at least it was heat behind them.
Right.
The heat she was laying in the ring physically was very decent.
Well, then they fuck it up because they want to do even with Finn and whatever beard wife he's got right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kayfabe, yeah. I'm not going to kayfabe. They're marking out.
They were kayfabe
for everybody, and they've got every trans and sexual fucking under the sun that they want, and he's taking twink pictures with fucking Prince Albert on the back of a bike, and then putting out Sailor Boy pictures and things.
Little boy blue.
I'm not the one doing that. He is.
Yeah,
so I'm going to say what the fuck I got to say. But even when she was with Ziggler there and the rainbow flag stuff, they always got close to it. They wanted to do the marketing like everybody else did, but they pulled back the reins on it.
Yeah, they could have done a little something more with that for sure. And that whole Ziggler caring that Mandy Rose is going out with Otis was terrible TV. And, Sonya Deville wanting to help Ziggler get with Mandy Rose made no sense because she's obviously openly gay and they've been on the road together for years. It's her that wants, to be with Mandy. I think
they were both together a little bit too themselves. They put that over in the early days that Mandy was bi with her.
Why can't we you can do it in an angle with fake gay people like Lana wanting to, have a past relationship with Liv Morgan, but not the real gay person. We can't do that. Like you can have a wrestler like Finn who wasn't openly gay, be a gay wrestler, but as soon as Darren Young comes out, no, fuck that, get rid of him. We can't have a gay guy. Meanwhile, Pat Patterson ran the Office for fucking 25 years. It's a very strange, history with gay people in WWE.
And then with Lars, obviously, we know how that went with the deviant side.
Only when they approve your gayness will it get over.
Yeah, where is this Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville sex tape? Is what I'm Natalia reacts to her $1 build a team game on Twitter. Quote, I am a pillar and a foundation. Oh, my God.
Who said that again?
Bro, this is a terrible picture of Natty too, with no makeup on whatsoever. I don't know why they would use this picture.
Oh, wow.
It's bad, bro. What the frig? Yeah. Oh shit!
Hey, she's an empowered woman, brother.
Yeah, sure she is.
Get your ass into 2021.
Wearing cat ears. Natalia has taken the time to respond to a Build Your Team Twitter game, which ranked her in the $1 tier. The Build Your Team trend is something that has been done plenty of times before in many different fields. However, WWE on Fox Twitter that's Ryan Satin, by the way, created a version specifically using the women of the roster. Talent was listed at different price ranges, and Twitter fans were given $15 to pick a team. Natalia was placed in the lowest price tier, which is at $1, and she took the time to respond to the ranking on Twitter, claiming she's struggling to know her worth, but she knows she's a pillar of the women's division. She says, quote, I've struggled for years to figure out exactly what my worth is, but I won't allow anyone to pick that number for me. As hurtful as seeing this is, I want to be known that if I ever find myself under all of these wonderful women, it's because I'm a pillar and a foundation of what we're doing. So please keep the $1 because anyone who knows anything knows how priceless I am. Bro, selling for Ryan Satin's stupid little Mark $1 Twitter game to put heat back on him and expose that she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in this fucking game. The daughter of Anvil trains with the Harts, has the legacy, and still can't get it right. And we've seen this even in the last year or two. And I'll go back to it. I've had the 3 or 4 times I've met Natty. Awesome.
Right. Me too. Same thing.
Nothing where it's like this.
Very gracious.
But there was even on early Total Divas where her husband outed her as a pathological liar. So she's got issues there. Then the last 2 years online when she's supposed to be doing whatever, the cat chick on fucking TV, which is terrible. Her and her sister, who are just doing Insta host stuff, slapping each other's big titties on fucking camera and doing whipped cream shots like they're sucking dicks. Like this is where they are, and that shows their mentality. Does that sound like a foundation and a pillar? That sounds to me like someone who is a very scarred carny chick who
that's what I was going to say is like, we don't call a pathological liar in the business. We say working the gimmick, just like they do on the Young Rock. I'm just working the gimmick. I don't really care about cats either. I just do this for the Instagram because, you know, this is where a lot of my mark money comes in from on the CSI, brother. It's just fucking silly from top to bottom. You know what's crazy is that she's had a fucking job this fucking long. I was watching like WrestleMania from 11 years ago this past weekend. Natty was there. I'm like, how the fuck long has this chick been around? She's like one of those girls that, you know, she's there, but she's still kind of under the radar. And you think,
2008,
crap, this girl's been here for 15 fucking years. Like, most people.
2008 is when Hart Dynasty, her, Harry, and what's his nuts came through. So they've been signed since then.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think like how long she's the most winningest like diva in the history of wrestling or whatever in WWE. So she's had more matches than any other girl in WWE history. Like that's insane to think that she's been around that fucking long. But you think by now she'd be a lot better worker because she still has fumbly moments in the ring. She doesn't have one match where it goes flawlessly. It's always something that happens to her that it's infuriating to watch. Like after this many years. She's like, at best, she's like a solid C+ indie worker.
I agree with you there. Like, how can you come from Hart Family Dungeon and best there is, was, and ever will be, and then you flip on Serena and you see, you know,
a master of the craft.
Yes, and Natty should be at that level, and
she
could be and would be, but it's these. Let me put on some negligee and slap tits with my sister. Yeah. Name your top Natty moments. I can't think of any.
Right. Her farting on TV.
Farting. Yeah.
That's it. That's what she's going to be known. The girl whose angle was she farted on TV. That's it.
Super sad, bro. Cats. You got a choice. Cody and Brandy or Nikki and Brie?
Nikki and Brie.
Nikki and Brie Bella launched new hair care line created for babies. I hope baby faces, but I don't think so. Nikki and Brie continue to develop their business, announcing the launch of a brand new hair care line specifically for babies. The future WWE Hall of Famers. Let's not get out of hand here. Announced the news this week.
First ballot.
Are they up for this year? Maybe they are. With their beauty empire continuing to expand, Nikki and Brie are excited to announce the expansion of Nicole and Brizzy. Dude, it does say that Brizee, Brizzy, with the launch of Tearless, a line created for Mommy and Me. 2019, Nikki and Brie launched Nicole and Brizzy, a line that was inspired by their love of beauty products that encapsulated their flawless skin and luscious looks. So it was only natural to create a line that could be used for their whole family. The current line of Nicole and Brizzy and body products was originally formulated for ages 3 and up. So the new Tearless collection was a natural progression that focused on the needs of babies with excellent quality ingredients suitable for adults. Nikki and Brie are the driving force behind their line. All products are bespoke and thoughtfully crafted with the highest quality of ingredients for your bathroom counter and are truly a representative of the Bella twins, whatever the fuck that means. With the launch of Tearless, their line will now encompass products perfect for the whole family. She said, quote, "This year, Nikki and I were inspired to create Tearless line for Nicole and Brizzy. And after our mother's brain surgery and giving our birth to our baby boys, we knew the importance of having a line that's certified organic and giving you the nutrients without the tears, a line that Mateo, Buddy, Birdie, and even Mama Bella can enjoy," explained Nikki and Brie Bella. I love Johnson's for years. No more tears, buddy.
You're killing
bro.
me.
I mean,
I could have chose the Cody.
Say what story. It is. It's these girls are doing. They're nothing more than a C-level version of what's already terrible in Kardashians and the chick from the Kardashian
of Kardashian bullshit. The actual name of the shampoo line is actually, that's just what they're calling it. So.
But they got to get in the mother's brain surgery. They got to get in all this, that, and the other.
Yes, it's like they're pandering for fucking sales through like, tragedies in their lives that didn't actually happen in their lives. Like, my mom had surgery 7 years ago, so would you please buy my tear-free fucking shampoo?
Exactly. And do you think that WWE owns the moniker Nikki and Brie, so they had to change it to Nikki and Brizzy to get around it, so they couldn't fucking do shit?
Yeah,
fuck you.
Absolutely. And if they're gonna speak Carney, at least speak it the right way. That's the like lazy person Carney, but that's just it's fucking terrible shit, dude, from top to bottom. Plus, like, how many things they have to have their fingers, and they have to have a clothing line, a beauty line, like. Then when are they gonna start doing like wrestler gear? Like, are they gonna open like a gear line for like, if you want to dress like the fellas, like stuff like red spandex and flowers to put in your hair, and if you want, you can. We're gonna call this like, we're gonna name this after Bree's broken neck or like Nicole's broken neck. Like, fucking give me a break.
Get the bitch slap candle, bitch ass.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. Do you think like Daniel Bryan goes home and he's like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm in the garage all day. Got to work on the car. There's like an oil leak, and he just spends like the 2 days at home. He just spends it in the garage, fake hammering like on a car, like with a hammer. It's just like, don't talk to me. I'm really busy right now.
Oh, bro, fake hammering into his head. Why did I do this? Like, then he's got to go to Christmas with Johnny Ace and fucking
what a rib. He's sitting at a fucking table listening to that guy. Would you please pass the fucking gravy? Like,
oh my God. This is delicious. So bad, bro.
Yeah, I'll take my life any day over that shit.
He's like, Bad Bunny, take me away. Our final story of the day, last night on AEW, big spot, Steve. Cody and Brandy, baby gender revealed. Brandy comes out and says even Cody doesn't know what the gender is going to be. And then they fucking boom, it's a girl, and we get to have this phony fucking moment on here and put it over, and everyone congratulates Cody on commentary. But here we are in
I thought genders didn't matter.
Hypocritical space. I thought that don't babies get to if they're all down with Nyla Rose and all this shit and they want to push that line, then they got to toe the baby line. And why are they allowed to say what the child's gender is? Meanwhile, they have to put it down our fucking throats of how dare you judge of what we're doing here in this shit. But we have a girl, but your child isn't allowed to identify as that.
Yeah, it almost would have been better if they, like, I don't know how they did, like, burst confetti or cut into a cake.
They did burst confetti. Yes, they did.
What if the confetti came out and it was gray and be like, fuck you, it doesn't matter what her gender is, and they could go off TV like that. Like
that would have been over. Then I would
have like
stuck to their guns.
Serving their own cause that way. Be like, oh, see, we told you it doesn't matter. And we're gonna dress them in like taupe and like charcoal. And they're not going to have a pink room or a blue bedroom. This is how we're going to raise our baby. And we're going to call it Pat, just like on Saturday Night Live. That's Pat,
Oh, we're going to wait.
Gender non-specific.
Choose its own name. The baby has to choose its own identity.
Right.
The hypocrisy is just so laughable. Like, these are the so sweet moments to me that I love, bro. Of you will do what we say with the SJW shit. And then you will also praise us as we sell out to do mommy brand bullshit as the popular thing. And then we'll go back to conventional 1950s fucking, it's a girl. You know what I mean? Cigars for everybody.
Handing out cigars all around.
Just fucking beautiful hypocrisy. I love this shit, bro. Yeah. I love it. The punishment. Oh,
it's bruise touching all around.
you want to fucking toe one line, but you want to be praised.
It shows you that they don't really fucking think about the transgender, this and that, and protecting this. And it was all just a bunch of box checking, which in my opinion is soft racism anyway. We need to have an Asian. We need to have a black. We need to have a white. We need to have this. We need to have that. Like that's in my opinion is soft racism. If you just hire the best people, you'll have everybody. You'll include everybody, but you won't be doing it because you have to have this or because you have to have that. When you just want to have the best, you'll find everybody. You know, but they had to do that, and shows you that they really have two opinions. I have a personal opinion and a public opinion. And in public, I say, yay, transgender people. And if that's your personal opinion too, that's fine. But don't say it, yay, public, and privately in the car ride home. They're like, do you believe this fucking guy wants to wrestle the girls and he's fucking 240 pounds and he throws these motherfuckers around, but we have to fucking do it because if we say anything other, we'll get canceled ourselves and we're making a ton of money right now. So we'll just play along, which is the fucking shoot of it all. You know, because you see that by having a fucking gender reveal party.
Yeah.
You see what the true, they just let out their kayfabe feelings in front of everybody by doing that. So.
Absolutely. You cannot toe both lines where it's the morality everybody else should abide to. Otherwise, you're going to get canceled and you'll never get a job here in SJW, AEW. But then when it's time to toe that line all the way across, well, that doesn't apply to us. We do, do our own.
And what's it called when you have two opposing thoughts in your head at the same time?
Mind control.
I'm so there it is.
Mind control. Oh man, but I think they controlled our minds here from the worst of Wrestle Stink Daily and ProWrestling.com. That's the headlines for the Friday locker room, man. Wow. Some delusional ones, like the fact that you're selling for Ryan Satin's $1 fucking wrestling game.
Be better than that.
No, I mean, come on. It shows how fragile and how out of touch these stars who are supposed to be superstars are, that are selling for things they should never even be acknowledging, not even a little bit, bro.
And even if you do read it, just keep scrolling, because everybody, if you're in that position, you're going to have tons of haters, tons. You could be the nicest person in the world and somebody's going to be like, well, fuck you, I don't like you anyway, just because. They don't have a reason. It's just that you're famous or you make more money, so it's like, well, fuck you. Just have the fucking common decency to just keep scrolling, just because what you're doing is like you're keeping that going, and it's almost like you want other people to sympathize for you because you're like, well, I feel like I'm worth more than $1. Oh, you are, Natty, you are. Oh, well, thank you, I feel better about myself. I'm glad.
You should be in the $5 tier, Natty.
I could see myself paying up to $7 to listen to your fucking nonsense all day.
Yeah,
so just keep fucking scrolling and be better than that. That's all.
And it's not even a subscription thing. It's just you get $15 and you get to pick your Survivor Series team. And Becky's $7.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's just the most asshole Mark things.
They have the Lesnar in the $20 one, and they have Bob Sparkplug Holly in the $1 one. Yeah.
Did you see Reigns responding to a Mark yesterday?
No,
dude. I gotta go to it. Fuck.
Oh boy. I should have just said yes and moved on.
Shut the fuck up. And
I saw it. All right. Thanks for having me
on. Here we are. Hold on. AJ Harrison, a Mark with how many? 27 followers. Oh, so come on, catch, you fucker. Of course it's not gonna. AJ Harrison writes at Roman Reigns, bruh, you need to stop putting lovey-dovey things up. You're supposed to be a heel, all caps. Are you awful at that, or are you awful at that too? Roman retweets, shut your mouth, you insignificant Mark. Heel enough for you? Question mark. Anyway, be well! Exclamation point.
Oh boy! So he couldn't even do that in full heel mode.
Motherfucker with 27.
And the funny thing is, it's probably one of the boys with a fucking burner account. He's just like, fuck Roman, I hate him.
Oh shit! Well, Ray's doing big work over there.
Yeah. The fucking heat in the locker room is real.
It's unreal, man, of how out of touch these children are, and that they really aren't stars whatsoever.
Roman didn't come back on him with nerd.
Yeah. No, that's safe for me. Dork from
Dork. That's
Dork. Safe for me.
Dork.
I'm sure we'll get some more stupidity as we head into the weekend here, man. But man, I know this was a great show. We've already done 90 minutes, and talking to Strangler is one of my favorite things to do.
Likewise, buddy.
Time goes by so quickly, and so many great laughs and reminiscent as well, man. So I appreciate you infinitely, not just what you're doing on Wednesday Locker Room, but being my consigliere when I need it, and to be able to jump in here and tag with me, bro, on the Friday Locker Room. So
likewise, I wish we could do it more often. I really do. I love talking to you. I could do it all day long. I miss having car rides where we can just fucking sit back and just talk for 3 hours straight. I mean, those are the best days when we can do stuff like that. And we try to kind of replicate that through this show when we get to talk, because we don't hold back, man. We will shoot. There was kind of the headlines this time around were kind of light. But like, you know, when you get into some real shit, we can definitely.
I don't know. I got pretty stiffed on a couple of those.
I'm only walking out with one black eye today, so I feel like I made out all right.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, open invitation for next Friday if you're here, because I'm sure Stevie's going to be on. If he can make it, then we'll do 3-way dance, and that'll be a phenomenal show as well.
Cool, man.
So, what do you got going on this weekend? Anything hanging in?
You know, we're expecting a little bit of snow, but it probably won't be too much because I'm right on the ocean, so it tends to stay a little bit warmer out here. But no real plans. Been kind of keeping a low profile, and kind of just maybe there's a state park that my wife and I like to walk through. We'll maybe do that again this weekend, and other than that, just kind of hanging out. We'll watch the Elimination Chamber on Sunday, and just kind of see how that falls into the aftermath of Raw, because I got to watch that for the Wednesday locker room. And
Elimination Chamber is this Sunday.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I know and then there's no other pay-per-view until Mania, so they have Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber pretty much back to back, and then they have like a 6-week lull in between this and Mania. Is
there a fast lane in between or no?
From what I heard, this was it, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, stay tuned for NXT Takeover out of nowhere. Yeah, man. We'll keep it locked right here. HackerHamin.podbean.com all weekend. I'll be producing. I'll send you the kayfabe link for the A show so you can check out April and Damian Sandow's work together. I'm just uploading the beautiful people now for Sunday's release. I got to cut some teaser trailers together. It's just nonstop production here with all hands on deck at Hamin Media Group. Colin did a great job this week. Matt's absolutely killing it, and so is Big Ray with Big Vito brand. I want to say big shout out to Road sending us 2 Roadcaster pieces. I got to send out to MSG and to Big Ray themselves. An unbelievable piece of equipment that allows me to do.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
Okay, I won't tell you what to do, but you know, I do got to mail these out to these guys so they can just make these shows even better. The Patreon stuff is going great, and we appreciate you guys, you know, listen on the free side, and if you can subscribe to whatever great star we're working with, man, right now, from Stevie Ray to Vince Russo to Hamin Media Group with the Rip Rogers podcast, Damian Sandow, and the beautiful people, bro.
That's pretty crazy.
It's going down right now, and 2-man power trip as well with an incredible vault, you know, so we're just really putting the pedal to the metal, dude, and everybody's doing great things in the community wise as well. All of our video editors, all of our TikTok shares, our social media team. I think it's going to come under Rick Vickery here pretty soon, and he's going to be captaining that. So it's just humbling, because we went from a mighty wind to a goddamn tornado in the last two months, bro. Really.
And like I said to you, man, keep building the fucking empire, because it's going to happen brick by brick. It might seem like it's taken a while here and there, but then when you step back and look at what you've built, it's becoming unbelievable.
I couldn't do it without you know, the best staff that's dedicated in the biz, all the great hosts who really just want to put out content that's far above and beyond our competitors, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because you know, the best will always find each other, and I think we have that definitely here at Hamin Media Group and Russo brand as we keep expanding further and further, man.
Absolutely. You can't fake passion, and you can't fake the love for this kind of stuff, because you just won't survive it. And everybody that's hosting shows is just killing it. In fact, I wanted to put over Colin and the Vet. They're doing a great job on the NXT review. It's good to see that show's really finally starting to get some roots. They're feeling more comfortable, and they're really hitting a good stride. So if you haven't checked that show out, do me a favor, check it out and give them a listen, because they're I'll tell you right now, I was really impressed with the way the Vet can break down matches and heat and you know, hot tags and things like that. Yeah. It's really quite an education. And I was kind of skeptical at first, like I am with when everybody comes onto a platform. I really got to give it some time. But I listen to everybody week after week, and when it comes to the Vet and Colin, they've built up a rapport now, and they're getting to know each other and feel more comfortable with each other. And it's very conversational, but it's also incredibly you know, lots of knowledge to really soak up there. So it was really, really cool to hear their show last week, and I'm looking forward to it this week too.
The Vet has that computer mindset, and he took all of his OVW education, and I know he's very serious about wrestling, and that's what I wanted that NXT show to be, as a learning experience, because they can call it a third brand. It's not. It's a wrestling school.
Yeah,
and I want it broken down from that way. And I'm sad that Sergio isn't with us, but not that he's dead or anything. He just got a job. But sad that Sergio had to go do what he needs to do to take care of his family, man. And he has to earn money because he ingests about 12,000 calories a day. So, but I'm glad Colin and the vet are finding their stride, man. Absolutely. To cover NXT, because that's the one show in this fucking whole gambit that I don't have to watch. So that's nice. Little weight off my shoulders there for those guys, man. But I appreciate you again, Strangler, man, being the ace today. Over strong for me, dude. You guys know where it is, thebrosters.com, zordosoliveoil.com, two of our great sponsors. You can also, if you're feeling a little beardy or you want to get some of that gray out of your beard, you can go to canyouhandlebar.com as well and get some of the best beard oil in the business. Tell them Hamin sent you guys. So y'all, Stevie, come back to us soon. Hopefully they're not bumping you out too hard over there and you get thrown out first in the battle royal. But it's real heels over strong here on the Friday Veteran Locker Room Infidels. Y'all.